Hey everybody, it's Andrew Martin coming to you with the Monday Minute. Actually, this is going to be probably a Tuesday or a Wednesday minute since I was a little late getting around to recording this message this week. But I hope your week has been off to a good start so far. I hope that wherever you are, you're happy and healthy and enjoying your life. And today I just wanted to share with you a quick I guess, tool or trick or tip on how to deal with situations that we have found to be generally emotionally charged, or situations where we find ourselves sucked into an old pattern of behavior or an old pattern of thought. A lot of times when we begin to live our lives through our heart and embark upon a more spiritual journey, the ego is going to throw up all sorts of defenses and all sorts of red herrings and send us out on wild goose chases because the ego doesn't like it when we rediscover that we are divine and we are eternal and we are powerful creators, and that we don't really need the ego to run the show for us anymore. I like to think of my ego as an advisor, not the CEO. And I'm the first one to admit that my ego loves to try to tempt me to the dark side, to the dark side, so to speak. So when we begin to create change in our lives, a lot of times, old patterns will come around, or old behaviors will come around, or old situations will come around. And I think a lot of times, it's very natural for us to revert back to the way that we used to handle things. Maybe there's a person that always seems to just get us and push our buttons, and we always have a very emotional response to them. Or maybe there's a habit, maybe we like to eat when we need comfort, or we like to smoke, or we like to seek, solace in drinking or drugs or some other form of denial, or trying to feed ourselves in a way that isn't necessarily the most healthy. And again, it's not about me denying or it's not about me condemning any specific behavior. I'm just saying that from our perspective, if we ask our hearts and we can be honest with ourselves, I think we all can agree and all affirm that we do have those areas of our life that we tend to maybe make some choices that don't always bring us to the desired outcome, or don't always bring us to the best place. So one of the simplest ways that I have found that we can begin to unengage or disengage, or choose a new way of behaving, or choose a new way of responding to people that come around in our lives, or certain behaviors or certain patterns, or certain things that come up that used to trigger us, is to just simply ask, how would my higher self deal with this? If I were fully connected to my higher self at this moment, or if I was living, more clearly, if I was living through a very heart-centered place in this moment, or if I was able to talk to, one of my guardian angels, or if I could, have a conversation with the divine, or with Source in this moment, how would my higher self, how would one of my angels or one of my guides choose to deal with this situation in this moment? And I think what you will find, and what I have found, is that immediately takes me to a heart-centered place, and immediately relaxes me, immediately diffuses any emotional reactions that I find begin to rise, because we feel it. And I think once we start to tune into our bodies and how things feel, and how certain decisions feel, and certain thoughts feel, and certain actions feel, and resonate on a feeling level, then we can begin to decide, is this really what I want to do, or is this really the healthiest choice for me, or is this really the best decision in terms of taking me to a place that's a happy place, that's a healthy place, that feels aligned with who I am, that feels free and easy and higher in terms of vibration, rather than low or heavy and constricted, or in resistance to our alignment. So the next time you have something that is, tends to be a trigger, and I invite you all to kind of just take a moment right now and do a little bit of searching. It probably won't take you very long to think of, what are the things in my life, or where are the areas in my life that tend to be triggers for me emotionally, and just make a conscious decision that the next time you are confronted with a situation that generally, or in the past, or historically, has been an emotional trigger for you, that rather than engaging in the emotional response, rather than coming at it from an ego, from a reactionary or a very emotional place, just stop, take a breath, and ask yourself, what would my higher self do if they were in my shoes, or how would source see this situation, and how can I see this situation through the eyes of source or through the eyes of a higher vibrational state. And I think what you'll find is physically it will come out of a feeling of being, sort of a tight and an anxious or an emotional one, and it will take you to a higher place vibrationally, and it will feel easier, and it will feel more open. And then we can begin to make a decision, then we can begin to formulate a response, then we can begin to decide that what we want to do, and feel better about that decision. And sometimes the decision is just to say nothing. Sometimes the decision may be just to smile. Sometimes the decision may be just to take a few deep breaths, or excuse ourselves and go into the bathroom or go into our bedroom and just kind of shut the door and do some deep breathing and get back to a centered place. But I think rather than allowing ourselves to continue to be reactionary and to continue to be drawn into this engagement of the ego or resistance, if we can just ask ourselves, okay, before I respond, I'm going to ask myself, how would source react or respond to this situation? And I think that you'll find that the answer that comes to you is going to be one that's very easy, that feels very true, that feels lighter and higher vibrationally, and is more aligned with your heart and with your higher self. So I invite you to try this out this week and, in the upcoming days, and let me know how this works for you. As always, I invite you to go to my website, send me an email, let me know how this works for you, or go to my Facebook page and check out some of the other videos and things that I post there daily. As always, thank you for watching. I wish you well. I hope the rest of your week is a great one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.